every argument you lost, every confrontation where your voice rose while your authority crumbled, every moment you said too much, explained yourself to someone who deserved nothing, chased closure from a person who had already dismissed you. You bled. You hemorrhaged control onto the floor while they watched, satisfied, knowing they had extracted exactly what they wanted from you. Your reaction, your emotion, your surrender disguised as defense. You replay those moments still. The words you wish you could retract. The fury that made you speak when silence would have crushed them. The explanation that only proved you felt the need to justify yourself to someone who held no court over you. You handed them your sword and watched them cut you with it. This is the wound most men carry into every room, every relationship, every conflict. They react, they regret, they repeat. A cycle written in weakness, inked in shame. But not after tonight. Tonight you master the blade of stillness. You learn what ancient warlords understood before they conquered nations with fewer words than you use in a single argument. Once you grasp this, no confrontation, no provocation, no carefully aimed insult will ever extract another drop from you. They will throw their words into the void of your silence, and the void will swallow them whole. In the courts of Renaissance Italy, Niccolò Machiavelli observed something the ambitious men around him never understood. The princes who survived, who accumulated power while others burned bright and died quick, shared one quality that separated them from the corpses of history. They spoke last, or they did not speak at all. Machiavelli wrote that men judge by the eye rather than by the hand, for everyone sees but few understand. What he witnessed in those marble halls was this. The prince who erupted in defense appeared guilty. The prince who explained appeared weak. The prince who argued appeared equal to his accuser. But the prince who remained still, who let silence fill the room like cold water rising, he became something else entirely. He became unknowable, and what cannot be known cannot be defeated. Sun Tzu understood this on the battlefield centuries before Machiavelli documented it in politics. The supreme art of war, he wrote, is to subdue the enemy without fighting. What is an argument but a small war? And what is silence but the refusal to enter a battle you have already won by not attending? A Chinese warlord once watched his rival exhaust himself in rage during negotiations. The rival pounded tables, made threats, demanded responses. The warlord sat perfectly still, eyes forward, breath measured, face carved from stone. He offered nothing, no defense, no counter, no acknowledgement that the performance before him deserved his energy. When the rival finally fell silent, drained and suddenly aware of the emptiness in the room, the warlord spoke 3 words. Then he left. The terms were accepted by morning. The rival never recovered his standing. This is the principle. The prince who speaks least rules longest. Most men today erupt like fools in conflict. They mistake volume for dominance, explanation for vindication, the last word for victory. You will not be that man. Silence is your throne, and from that throne, you will watch them destroy themselves. Observe what unfolds in their mind when you withhold words in the heat of conflict. They expect response. Every neural pathway in their brain has been conditioned by a lifetime of human interaction to anticipate the volley. They throw an accusation, an insult, a challenge. They prepare for the return. Their defense is already loading. The argument is already mapped. But you offer nothing. You do not speak. You do not flinch. You simply remain. Watch their eyes in that moment. Something fractures behind them. The social script collapses. They have rehearsed a 2-person play, and you have walked off the stage, leaving them performing to an empty theater. Their voice continues, but the conviction drains. They hear themselves filling air with words that mean nothing, reach no one, accomplish nothing. The silence around your stillness becomes a mirror, and in that mirror they see only themselves. Desperate, unheard, powerless. This is the neurological collapse of a man who has been denied his opponent. The amygdala fires, demanding resolution. Cortisol floods, preparing for combat that never arrives. But there is nothing to fight. There is only you, still, watching without malice, without engagement, without the respect of participation. Their brain cannot process this. It begins to create ghosts. What is he thinking? Why will he not respond? Does he know something I do not? Am I wrong? Am I the fool here? The spiraling begins. They replay the confrontation in bed that night. They draft messages they will never send, explaining themselves to your silence, begging your void for acknowledgement. They delete. They rewrite. They delete again. They hate themselves for caring. They hate you for not caring, but they cannot stop. Your silence has taken residence in their skull, an echo chamber where their own words bounce back, twisted and pathetic. You have become the silence that echoes in their skull. Inescapable, permanent. The argument ended the moment you chose not to have it. But for them, it will never end. They will carry it like a stone, unable to set it down because there was no conclusion, no resolution, no closure. You gave them nothing, and nothing is the heaviest thing a man can hold. 5 ways to wield silence as a blade in conflict. First, do not respond to provocation. Let it die in the air where it was born. When they throw words designed to wound, designed to extract, designed to pull you into their arena, you will let those words fall to the ground untouched. Do not pick them up. Do not examine them. Do not honor them with acknowledgement. Provocation only lives if it receives reaction. Without response, it becomes a man shouting at a wall, then at himself, then at the growing horror that he has revealed his desperation to someone who did not even blink. Machiavelli observed that men who can be easily provoked are men who can be easily controlled. The prince who reacts to every slight spends his entire reign defending instead of ruling. But the prince who lets insults pass through him like wind through a corridor, he demonstrates something terrifying, that you cannot reach him, that your words hold no weight in his kingdom, that you are, in the truest sense, irrelevant to him. Like a mountain receiving rain, you do not crumble. You do not explain yourself to the storm. You simply endure, and the storm exhausts itself against your indifference. This is how silence becomes armor. This is how stillness becomes strength. Second, do not explain yourself to those who have decided not to understand. The urge to explain is the urge to be validated by your accuser. It is a confession that their opinion holds power over your peace. When you explain, you are not defending truth. You are begging for agreement from someone who has already judged you. You are handing them your crown and asking them to confirm you deserve to wear it. They will not, and you will leave smaller than you entered. Sun Tzu wrote that all warfare is based on deception, but the deepest deception is the one a man practices on himself. When you believe explanation will change their mind, you deceive yourself. They do not want to understand. They want to be right. And your explanation is simply more material for their prosecution. Withdraw the offering. Let them build their case in the courtroom of their own mind, without your testimony, without your participation. When the verdict comes, and it will come against you regardless, you will not have given them the satisfaction of your defense. You will have saved your words for those who deserve them, and they will wonder forever what you would have said. Third, when they raise their voice, lower yours, or eliminate it entirely. Volume is the refuge of the desperate. When a man shouts, he confesses that his words alone are insufficient. He must add force because content fails him. This is weakness dressed as strength, and you will recognize it instantly. While they escalate, you descend. Speak softer. Speak slower, or speak not at all. The contrast alone dismantles them. They are performing fury, you are embodying control. Every witness to this exchange will know, without instruction, who commands the room. The quiet man is always assumed to possess what the loud man lacks. Certainty, information, power held in reserve. Let them assume. Let them fear what that reserve contains. Like a general who holds his cavalry while the enemy infantry exhausts itself in charge after futile charge. You wait. You preserve. You demonstrate that their effort does not warrant your engagement. When they finally fall silent, breathless, and diminished, your few words will land like cannon fire in the quiet they created. Fourth, let them fill the silence with their own confession. Silence is a vacuum, and weak men cannot tolerate empty space. When you refuse to speak, they will speak for you. They will fill the void with justification, with elaboration, with revelation they never intended to offer. They will tell you what they fear. They will tell you what they want. They will tell you exactly how to defeat them. All because you gave them nothing but room to expose themselves. Interrogators know this principle. Salesmen know this principle. Ancient advisors who whispered to kings knew this principle. The man who speaks first loses. The man who speaks most reveals most. The man who remains silent collects intelligence while offering none. Sit in the discomfort of silence like a throne you have earned. Watch them squirm. Watch them fill. Watch them hand you weapons they do not realize they are surrendering. This is how silence extracts truth. This is how stillness harvests power. Fifth, exit before closure. Leave them suspended in the unfinished. The greatest cruelty you can offer in conflict is incompleteness. Do not deliver the final word. Do not offer resolution. Do not allow them the peace of knowing where they stand. Simply withdraw. End the exchange without ending it. Walk away while they are still speaking. Let the sentence hang. Let the argument float, unresolved, permanent. They cannot process this. The human mind craves narrative completion. It demands endings. When you refuse to provide one, you install yourself in their thoughts indefinitely. They will return to this moment again and again, constructing the ending you denied them, torturing themselves with possibilities, unable to close the book because you have torn out to the final pages. Sun Tzu taught that the wise warrior positions himself in invincibility and waits for the enemy's moment of vulnerability. When you leave before closure, you have positioned yourself beyond their reach while leaving them exposed to their own obsession. They will call this cruelty. They are correct, but cruelty wielded with precision is simply strategy by another name. This is how silence carves fear. You now possess 5 blades most men will never sharpen. 5 instruments of stillness that transform every confrontation from a battle into a coronation. Where others bleed their power into pointless exchanges, you will sit upon the throne of your own silence and watch them destroy themselves against your walls. Wield them coldly. Wield them without mercy. Wield them in utter silence. You no longer react. You no longer explain. You no longer bleed in conflict. This is the moment you cease being the fool who argues, the man who explains, the boy who shouts and regrets. You become something else now, something colder, something still, the shadow that commands without speaking, the void that men fall into when they reach for reaction and find only absence, the blade that cuts without moving. You are now untouchable. You are now silent. You are now sovereign. If this cut deep, inscribe in the comments, blade of stillness to seal it into your conduct. Let those words be your vow. Let them be the oath you make to the man you are becoming. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications. These are small acts of discipline, small demonstrations that you understand commitment, that you recognize value, that you separate yourself from the masses who consume and contribute nothing. Weak men will argue with the screen and scroll, unchanged, returning to the same patterns that have bled them dry for years. Powerful men will act in silence. They will close this video and enter their next conflict as something unrecognizable, something still, something terrifying. Which one are you? The question does not require an answer. The silence after it tells me everything. In the void where your words used to spill, empires of fear now grow. You have learned the lesson that topples kingdoms and builds them again, that the blade which never swings still commands the room, that the mouth which never opens still speaks the loudest truth, that the man who needs no victory has already won every battle he will ever face. Go now. Enter the world as silence. Let them wonder, let them wait, let them break themselves against the stillness you have become. This is your inheritance from the warlords and princes who ruled before you. Take it, hold it, and never speak of it again. The silent blade does not announce itself. It simply cuts.